So today we are making Ancho Arroz con Pollo. It's a recipe that my mom did one time. She was experimenting. It actually turned out really good, and I wanted to give it another attempt with making it. So I've already had the chicken in a small pot full of water and 3 dried ancho peppers boiling for about an hour. I now have my large pot with some oil on the bottom, and I got 2 cups of white rice. So once the oil gets a little bit more hot, we're gonna throw the rice in and brown the rice. Since the chicken is already cooked, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna end up taking the chicken out of the pot and shredding it. The peppers, minus the stems, we are going to put in our food processor. You can use a blender, but wash it out real good before you make your next fruit smoothie, because it ain't gonna turn out right. Okay, so we're adding in the rice now that the oil is heated. Spoon. You are browning your rice. Again, if it's different from making white rice. So instead of washing your rice first to get all that starch and whatever off, frying it in the oil is how you do it. When I tackle the top of my fridge to get my food processor down, I will be showing you what I do with putting the entrails in to make the part of the water that will be going in here. However, I will also be using the water from here and just from the sink to throw into the pot with the rice. So I have 2 cups of rice in here that is going to be browning for the next 10-ish minutes. And I'll show you guys, because you see right now how it's pretty translucent. You got some parts that are already getting white from being on the skillet or pot cooking. It's gonna get darker. It's gonna turn like a nice, not quite a golden color, but it's gonna get close to, it's gonna be brown. I'm gonna show you guys what I mean. I also do not measure for anything other than the water for the rice, but we're gonna use all these spices. We got chili, cumin, onion, garlic, paprika, regular paprika, not smoked, chili peppers, got tomate or tomato bouillon, salsa completa, black pepper, oregano, cilantro, salt. While the rice is still browning, I'm going to be getting the ancho peppers out. Let's see if I can't use my tongs to get the freaking stems. Heck yeah, stem. I promise you, it ain't gonna taste good. I have this little doohickey in the middle with my food. No, biscuits. With my food processor to biscuit eaters. Well, that was part of the ancho. To help get the stem off. Ignore my commentary. Ooh, nice juicy pepper. Look at that. Juicy. Get the stem out. Yes, there are seeds inside the anchos. Look at that water. It looks so happy. I'm gonna switch to over here real quick. So as you see from how it was, it's not as translucent as before. It's starting to get more solid all the way through. I'm gonna just keep stirring it, temporarily forgetting about it. Now my mom and I have a thing where, and my sister, we're making rice. There are times where we forget about a rice and we make it slightly Cajun, meaning that some of it's really gonna be brown. I'm gonna try to not do that with this. But with our ancho peppers inside of our food processor, we're gonna get our measuring cup. We're gonna pour out some water from the chicken. straight into the food processor. Probably just a smidge more because again I'm going to be using some of this water along with the tap water to do the rest for the rice of what I cannot get from here. This is going to be adding some extra flavor because I also have kiddos who are a little sensitive to loud noises, even though my baby's about to hear it all. The other one is taking a late nap. I'm going to put this on Curie. So it's plugged in. I'm gonna pause this, Curie it, and I'll show you the after result. Okay, so this is it after it's been Curied. It's just really dark. But it's going to add a wonderful flavor to the arroz. And for our non-Spanish speakers, arroz is rice, con is with pollo, chicken. I never made arroz de res, which is rice with beef or meat. Our rice is starting to look good. I'm gonna give it just a little bit longer. If my measurings of, my showing of how I measure this stuff does not make sense to you, I recommend getting 2, maybe 3 Old El Paso or Mateo taco seasoning packets, or whatever brand of taco seasoning packet that you like. That's pretty much all of this is. However, it's a little bit different from doing it this way. But I don't measure. My mama taught me how to cook, and my mama never measured. We had to learn by looking and tasting. And since you guys cannot taste it, I will be doing my best to describe the flavors to you as I make it. But I know that doesn't quite make the cut with cooking. So I hope that if you try it, it works out for you. If you don't, you know, I guess you don't. But this was and still is one of my favorite comfort foods. I don't always do it the Ancho way. I normally do it where I boil the chicken in some water, shred it, or even there's times where I just cut up the chicken into small little bites, do the rice. Once I get the water into the rice, I'll add the chicken in and season it and let it cook for another like 15-20 minutes until the water's evaporated and the rice is all the way cooked. Or in my case, combination where it's kind of crunchy, kind of perfect, and kind of mushy. Look at that. That is looking perfect. This is how you want the rice to look, where it's browned so it's not translucent. It's all getting nice and happy. We're going to start adding in our water. So we're going to start off with our Ancho mixer. Right now I have it a little bit above medium heat, so I'm going to lower the heat. I'm going to get my measuring cup. Again, we have 2 cups of rice in here, so we're going to need about 4 cups of water. Because this is the Ancho Arroz con Pollo way, you may need 5 cups of water. So we're going to see how it turns out. Don't do this with your bare hands if you have sensitive skin, because it's going to burn. Or have an adult do it if you're a kiddo. So we're gonna pour this in. We might get a whole 2 cups. Heck yeah, 2 cups. So we got 2 cups of the Ancho. We are going to try to get at least 1 cup if possible. Just under a cup of that. And then we're going to get a cup of regular water. So this is going to be the part where I'm going to be putting the phone down a lot. I may not be pausing it like I have been so far, but I will be putting the phone down a lot as I'm adding in our spices. Now, because of the Ancho water that is in here, which I did 1 1/4 cup of tap water because my pepper water was a little under a cup. I did just 1 1/4 of regular tap water. We are going to start off with our gato tomate, and we are going to be doing 1 large silverware spoon. Silverware spoon, the large one. Okay. So I got it like this. There's gonna be clumps, and I'm gonna add another small amount. Somebody is cranky. Now I do tweak the seasonings as it cooks. And usually when I do have to tweak the seasonings, I add just a little bit more water to try to help it cook in if it's cooked down by a lot. But usually within the first like 5-10 minutes of doing this part, this is our chili powder, by the way. Within the first 5-10 minutes of this part, I'll be checking the seasonings quite a bit, seeing what I need to add, what I need to adjust, if anything. Next is our cumin. Listen, don't judge me. I had the lid on top of it. There was one time I was making this, and the lid fell in along with a whole bunch of cumin powder, and I cried. It's okay to cry over food, especially good food. Next is our onion powder. So what I try to do is I try to do the same amount of chili powder to cumin powder. Then I'm going to, oh, you're bringing the little one in? Okay. We're gonna do the onion. I don't do as much onion and garlic as I do the chili and the cumin. However, the amount of onion that I just added, which I might need to add a little bit more, I do about half that with the garlic powder. I have never tried it with fresh onion and garlic though. If you do want to try it, let me know how it works. Experiment, make it your own. Garlic. Next is our paprika and a baby who's gonna run over my ankle. Please don't run me over. I love you. No, don't go. Ah, biscuits. Right into the drawers. Paprika. Again, regular paprika, not smoked. We use about the same amount of paprika as we do the chili and the cumin. Maybe just a little bit less, but definitely a little bit more than the onion. Next is gonna be our salt. You can use regular salt, sea salt, Celtic salt, Himalayan salt. Take your pick. I am using sea salt today, because that's what was opening next to me. So, because we're gonna see how that works. I might have made that just a little bit salty. Because the gato tomate or the tomato bouillon is pretty salty itself, I normally try to go light with the amount of salt that I put in. This is just regular black pepper. I use the restaurant style. We're gonna clear your guys' sinuses if you try this, because you're gonna smell it. Next, we're gonna add a little bit of oregano. That's gonna help cut down on some of the spiciness that you may taste. I try not to add a whole bunch of that because it can alter the flavor. Next is gonna be the cilantro, but I'm gonna have to put this down so I can open up the little baggie. If you want to use fresh cilantro, even better. Okay, got the cilantro open. Whee! Go in, go in. Aha. Oh, don't hit him. He's a baby. Okay. For reference, I'm talking to my baby about my dog. Okay, so before I add any pepper flake, I'm gonna let this cook and see if it needs any spice, because my kiddos are going to be eating it. I'm probably not going to be adding it in. If you like the spicy, if your kids like the spicy, taste it, add it in. Especially if you're using the taco seasoning mix instead of doing all the spices. Let me know how that goes. We're gonna let that get happy. Put the biscuits, the lid. It's over there. It's over there. Haha. Put the lid on it. I did stir it, as you've seen, to try to get the spices mixed in. Goodness, I want to sneeze now. Again, it's gonna clear your sinuses. Now, oh, biscuit eaters! No, let go of the drawer. Let go of the drawer. When in doubt, use a ladle. As I was saying, I did mix the spices in just to get it incorporated. If you do not have a chicken shredder thing, I got it. Woohoo! Chicken shredder thing. You can use a colander and 2 forks, and I wish you the best of luck. Or you can even use your food processor, but it's gonna make it more of it might make it more pureed if you try to use your food processor. I'm not gonna lie. So I'm gonna go ahead and start shredding the chicken. That's hot. And in a moment I will be tasting our arroz so we can see how it's doing. Look at that, it looks so beautiful and happy. Okay, so I just try the rice. I'm gonna be adding more of the Ancho water. I'm not measuring, because with how thick it is with seasonings, it wasn't gonna cook the rice all the way through. So we're gonna give that a stir. I did, in fact, make it a little bit salty. So I'll also be doing what I can to... No, you little heifer! Yes, I call my baby a heifer. He's finally mobile in his little walker. And he's figured out how to get into everything, including my sifter. Baby, he has my sifter. I got it. Thank you. So it's on the saltier side, really heavy with, I can definitely taste the cumin and the chili. I might add a little bit of the sazon completa or complete seasoning to try to balance it out, but again, complete seasoning is on the saltier side, so we're gonna see how that works. Just a light amount. We're gonna mix it in. We're gonna cross our fingers. Hope it turns out. So we're gonna give that like 3 minutes, let it set in. So we are now at 5:15, so like 18-ish. I will taste that. Okay, so I only waited 2 minutes because I'm impatient. I tasted it again with having added the Ancho water, however amount that was, and a little bit of the sesame completa. It now has a nice flavorful, kind of tangy taste to it. So I'm not going to mess with it anymore because I personally like that taste. If I do add anything afterwards, I will let you know, but I will continue to let this cook down. I already have our chicken shredded with our chicken shredder. Unfortunately, my older kiddo is asleep, but that's actually his favorite part that he loves doing. I'll get 1 chicken breast at a time, put it in there for him, and he'll sit there and he'll just keep on twisting it until it's all shredded. And he loves smelling all the spices and seeing all the spices that we put into this. I do highly recommend, if you have little ones that are kind of big enough to help, let them do little things. Be like, all right, you're the smell tester. You have to make sure that this smells yummy. And it helps get them involved. And if you have a dog who is waiting for scraps to fall down, you tell them you don't get any scraps. Okay, maybe a baby cracker. Thanks, Anakin. Before I forget to mention, here, a spoon. Not a spoon for you guys. I gave my little one a spoon to keep him entertained. Yeah, work on your sword fighting skills. Way to go! Before I forget to mention, one, do not touch the lid, because the lid is hot. I just barely have fillings to my fingers because I keep doing stuff like this. I do stir it on occasion. I do not stir it constantly. I stir it on occasion so everything gets cooked evenly, and make sure nothing sticks to the bottom. I try to check on it to see how the rice is doing as it cooks down. At this point in time where it's cooking down, if the rice needs a little bit more water, I won't use the rest of the Ancho water. I use just regular sink water so it doesn't affect the flavor as much. It may dilute it a little bit depending on how much water you add. If you have to add a lot of water to try to help with the cooking process, you want to grab out your seasonings and add a little bit more of the seasonings just to keep the flavor up. Hey, let's not pull your high chair on you. Thank you, bud. And we keep it covered until it is cooked down. The shredded chicken you can keep stored in your microwave to help keep it heated. Technically, once the rice is done cooking, you throw it in, you mix it all together. The hot rice is going to help warm up the chicken, but it's already fully cooked.